that gray.
Very good.
A little darker?
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, yeah, just a wee bit though, not that much.
Okay. Just for the sake of comparing oranges to oranges.
Mm.
I mean apples to apples.
Yeah,
I'm getting pretty close.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a pretty close neutral gray. So here, what am I going for? That one? Okay, I'm gonna start with more gray. It's got a touch of this. Not bad. Also, when I thin this to use my sable brushes with, it's not going to change color or get any darker either. It'll get a little more transparent. Maybe. I'm getting there. Put a touch of it.
Using the mineral spirits, does it cut down on the drying time, or do you still have to add some kind of additive, or?
I don't think so. I believe that the mineral spirits is same as turpentine.
Oh, okay.
Now, it's true though, when you thin the oil paint, it actually does speed up the drying time. Sure. Because thin liquid dries faster than thick liquid does. Or really
But
like,
you still have time
like
to
a
blend
gel.
the colors
Oh
out.
yeah, you've got all. You can go out for lunch.
Yeah.
Cruise up and down Van Nuys Boulevard.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
One shot.
It's getting there. Just lighten it up a little bit. It's a little bit dark.
Using mineral spirits.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right. So to darken that down, I would probably add some brown. If something looks a little too green, going back to the color theory, if one of these complex colors starts to look a little too green, the opposite of green is red. So I just take a speck of reddish brown and I can kind of neutralize knock down some of the greenness. Vice versa. If it's too red, then I'll put something that looks a little greenish. Greenish in this case would be a combination of yellow ochre and raw umber, probably. I mean, in theory, you could take a green paint like chromium oxide or something, and green something down a little bit with green paint. But it's much more difficult to control. I mean, just too many molecules over to the right, and you're done for. These are already complex colors.
So how
That's
much?
kind of it. Like this. So I think this would be close to a base color in oil paint for a warm white, like white wool or something like that. This would be pretty close to a base color. Well, this is still warmish. You know, this is like a grayish tan.
Yeah.
It might look a little too.
How much would you thin that down? Could you show how much?
Okay.
Because I'm one of those guys that hasn't been using thinner. I just
Okay.
peeing out of the tubes. I've tried thinners, but it makes it more translucent when I tried it.
What's that?
Maybe I put too much thinner. I've tried it a few times to add thinner, but it seems just to make it more translucent when I put it on the figure.
Makes it a hell of a lot easier to
You don't-
remove stuff.
You don't put
Yeah.
that much, right? Just a tiny bit.
True.
Actually, no, I usually start with 4 drops.
4
with
drops.
Toothpick, I think. 2.
How often you clean the
That
jaw?
really is kind of by feel. It's really
Yeah.
just flying by the seat of your pants because now the reason why I stir this is I don't want I want to eliminate all of the lumps first.
Yeah. How often you change the water in the jar?
Not very often.
Weekly.
Weekly, right? Okay. Well, most of it settles to the bottom anyway,
Yeah.
right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
I was kidding him last week.
It's
about
just
a dirty-
embarrassing because
dirty-
last week I had like gray water.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, you know, but then
So
I
I-
realized
It's hardly ever
it's
like
heavier
this.
than the water, it's gonna dry.
Tomorrow it'll start getting gray.
Yeah.
However, it's okay because the pigment it just floats down to the bottom and the thinner is just fine.
All right, it's good to know.
This is just for show.
Yeah.
It is. I'm showing off.
How tidy he is.
So now this more or less consistency for brushwork now, what you're doing, right?
I think so.
I mean, when we talk brushwork, I'm talking like a wide area. What about when you want to do lines and stuff like that? This thin enough, or you gotta go thinner?
Question. I think it's thin enough. To me, this kind of feels like Humbrol enamel. You know,
Okay,
if I
alright.
took this toothpick and put it in a can of Humbrol enamel and I put it on this piece of palette, it would probably be about that thick.
All right.
I think that is thin enough to stroke with a brush. Just to prove my point. Actually, this is a little bit redder than that is. Let's see what happens.
What's the smallest brush you work with?
That's pretty close. It might be a little bit greener. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding an oil base coat over my acrylic base coat. Might be a little too thick, huh?
So,
Now, when you blend, do you use a dry brush? When you blend the
Oh,
two
yes,
shades?
yes.
You still do that?
Always.
Yeah.
Yep. A dry brush and a very clean brush. Okay, that's a nice layer of base coat paint. Can you see much difference between the top of his trousers
No.
and the legs?
No.
Where did
you
you
block-
just paint?
top.
To the knee?
No, just
Oh,
to the
not all
top,
the way.
the crotch, and
Oh,
around there.
okay, you're putting me to work now. I have to paint all the way to the knee.
You put the highlights in and everything.
So you match the acrylics.
What can happen also over, because I'm just taking my time painting, the thinner in my paint will begin to evaporate slowly. So after, after 15, 20, 30 minutes or something like that, I'll just take my tooth to make sure I get the right one,
Yeah, right.
or throw this away.
And start with a new one.
Okay. Play it safe, huh? There you go. Sometimes it's kind of fun to make a kind of streaky color on your for your base color. if I want to do things like add dust and grease and effects, you know, what they call aging in the movie business, I always paint the light and shadow first, like he just walked out of the men's store with
Yeah.
a fresh pair of pants, and then I'll start doing and really let that dry and cure, and then I can do